everyone, in this video I am working on this Wyvern, and as you can see my line work is incredibly messy. And hold your horses, I can explain, because I am not that experienced with working with the brush and Indian ink. Why am I still working on this piece? Because I like working with a brush and Indian ink. Because I was having a little bit of a rough time lately. And at some point I wasn't feeling the art that much. So I decided, well, maybe I should just make a piece for myself and not care about it. Not care about if it's good or not care about if it's something that I'm good at. Just make something that I enjoy. So that is what I'm doing. And I hope you still like it that I share this with you. Because even though I'm not that good at working with Indian ink and a brush, maybe it can still be inspiring to you. But I just like to mess around with the ink. And the greytones that you see me creating is nothing more with Indian ink with water. And if you want to know how much Indian ink I use for the tones and how much water, I have no idea, I'm just winging it. I use more ink for the darker areas, and every time my brush runs out of ink, I add some water so it will become lighter and lighter until I add the ink back in again. You probably know me from my ballpoint pen sketches, and I sometimes make pencil sketches too, and for this drawing I made a pencil sketch first. Because when I go over it with Indian ink, I want to be able to do some corrections on the initial sketch. And this is just gonna be a piece, it's gonna be fun, messy, and I'm just gonna play around with it. But I did scan in the pencil sketch first, because I want to make it a digital piece as well. And then it will be, of course, I will make it more neat, more perfect. But yeah, I just want to have an excuse to play around with ink, okay? Because I want to know, don't you guys have that sometimes that you feel like you have to perform all the time, and that sometimes you just like, I don't want to perform, I just want to make a big mess. As you can see in the wings, is that my line work with the brush that I did here is very shaky. And that is something, my lines is something that I really need to work on. And I'm practicing that a lot, like almost daily. I do like line practices with the Wacom and with the ballpoint pen and with pencil. And but with brush, I don't do them often because I rarely use the brush. And with pens and pencils, you kind of have some resistance. When you hold a pen or a pencil to the paper, you feel the pressure. But a brush doesn't have that at all. And I notice as soon as I use a brush, it will become a bit of a struggle to have a straight line. But like I said, it's something that will get better over time if I practice it. But I just don't use ink enough. For here I'm gonna play around a bit with some open areas where I don't draw the ink in, like here. So I can resemble a bit of reflection of light on the scales. And when I want to go darker again, I put a little bit of ink on my brush again and then add a little bit of water, wipe it off just a little bit, and I go back in. And it always dries lighter than when you put it down. So when an area is dry, I can go back in again to make it darker if that's needed. And in the end, I can even go in with a white gel pen to add some more highlights. so nothing's lost. And sometimes when you release yourself of the pressure of something needing to be good, it becomes better in a way because you draw it more free. Because I can already see that this Wyvern is happening. And you can see that the paper is a bit like wobbly. Usually you can like tape down your paper or use a little bit thicker paper. This is Canson Media mixed media paper, and it doesn't hold too many layers of water and ink that well, but yeah, for me it gets the job done. Fun part is where you already have, like here you have a line of Indian ink, and when you work with water it kind of stops at the line on its own. Of course not when you go over it with a brush, but when you have like a little bit too much water here, it doesn't float in a different area that easily. But now that we're here and we're just chatting and you are listening to me rambling, I would like to know what kind of content you would like to see. Would you like to see more videos like this in where I just draw and talk? But if it is this content that you would like to see, I would be happy to make that. And with my dragons, it's more tutorial like, but yeah, for this one I just needed a break from making the tutorials and making another ballpoint sketch, because I was making the sketches and they didn't work out. And I felt like something is wrong. And I did had, like, in real life, I had a little bit of a hard time. And I explained in another video that I had some comments that was a bit negative, and that kind of got to me as well. And when I was drawing in my sketchbook with ballpoint pen, none of the dragons were worth posting that I made. And I felt really bummed out about them. And they were like dragons that I would have been happy with if I would have drawn them 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I would be pleased with them. But now I just felt like, no, this is not it. This is not anything new. It's nothing that I have not done before. And they didn't look that well either. So I was like, what do I need? And then I was like, I need to draw something for myself. And I really like working with a brush and ink. I just don't do it that often, and that is why I'm not that good at it. Because it kind of makes sense. If you don't practice something, you won't get better. So that's my problem here with Indian ink. I don't practice it enough, so I won't get better. So I was like, then I should just do something for myself and make a fun drawing with Indian ink. And when I'm gonna make this piece digitally with the initial sketch, that's gonna be a lot better, a lot more clean lines. But for this one is for myself. You know, the fun part is for me, like when I'm making videos where I talk and draw at the same time, I sometimes kind of forget what I was talking about. And I'm like, how do other artists on YouTube do that? Like, do you all forget what you're talking about, or is that just me? And that is probably, I wonder if that's like really an artist thing, but I can't imagine I'm not the only one. That's when you work on something, you kind of zone out. So for me, it's kind of challenging to keep drawing or keep talking while I draw. But yeah, drawings like this is perfect to practice that as well, because when I started making it, I was always like, I'm gonna mess this one up. I'm gonna make a mess from it, because that is exactly what I'm going for with this one. It's like when you draw with pen, you have so much control. And when I draw with a brush, I don't have any of that control. And it is freeing in a way because, like I said, I'm gonna make a mess. I already accepted that part. But it also is really challenging. Especially when you're gonna start the ink wash, like adding water to the ink. It doesn't always do what you were planning. But that's the fun part. That is something that you just need to work with. But maybe it does inspire you. Maybe you want to draw something similar, and that is totally okay. What I find special about art, it is a way to inspire other people. So if you want to draw this Wyvern too, just feel free to do so. I did make photos of the sketching process, and I will post that to Instagram. I can't post like picture guides on YouTube, but I do make like little guides in which I add text that describe how I made the drawing. Sometimes I do that when I'm not recording for a tutorial. I do try to make photos so I can explain what I did and how I made the drawing for the people who want to draw along with me. So if that is what you want, if you want to draw this one yourself, you can. And for the inking, my other video was a little bit of a rant about negative comments. So I'm not sure if I will post that one, or maybe I'll just make it a time lapse. I'm not sure, but you can see how I did the inking. But like I said, I'm not that experienced with Indian ink and brushes, so I'm not sure if you would learn much from it. But well, if you get something from it, of course you can. That's only good. Well, the thing that I hope you do get from art is that sometimes you just should not care. Sometimes you just should make that mess. Stop caring about if you're doing it correctly. Because I can imagine if there is like an artist watching who works with ink and brushes, who is kind of like maybe a bit frustrated how I abuse the brush or something. But yeah, I'm having fun here. That's what matters most to me today. And I really do feel like it does show in the drawing that I'm having fun. That might be a little bit too dark, and I hope I can fix that by picking that a little bit up with some paper towel. And that actually worked. This really is my feel-good Wyvern, because I was in a bad mood when I started the initial sketch. And I feel so much better now the further I get into this piece, just because I release myself of the pressure of... So if you're feeling bad, I just encourage you, start an artwork. Stop caring about it needing to be good. Just go make that mess. Have fun with it. Because sometimes when you're in that mindset that you don't care, sometimes that will create the best artworks. And to the people who want to know more about drawing creatures, and mostly dragons, but I also make other creatures. Sometimes I draw people, like portraits, but it's all fantasy themed. If you want to know more about that, I also have a Patreon. And on my Patreon, I post the same guides that I post for Instagram, and that's in the section for the free members. And I have one tier that is $1, and that is for more in-depth tutorials. And sometimes you see, like, I have a timeless video here, then I post a real-time video on that Patreon for the ones who want to draw along with me. And I also have downloads for my ballpoint pen sketches on my Patreon. But there's also like already a lot for the free member section. So if you're interested, just feel free to come hang out with a free membership, so you can see what it's like, and maybe it's something for you, maybe it's not, and that is okay too. The tree is okay to be a little bit messy. Not just because I have no clue what I'm doing. It just, a tree doesn't have to look very neat, because nature doesn't grow very neat. A very old tree like this one would be a bit messy, right? Yeah, I do feel like I've went into dark on certain areas, but well, that's okay. I do like how it turned out. When it's dry, I might go in with some white gel pen or a white Posca marker to bring out some of the highlights, some of the details. And I think I'm gonna work on the outline of the drawing just a bit more. Not sure if I will do that with a pen or with a brush, but I have to brush now. My hands, I have ink on my hands as well, so I'm a little bit worried that I will smudge on the paper. But on the other hand, if that happens, it happens. And now it's just adding some finishing touches, kinda wrap it up. Like this is like the end sprint of the drawing. And what I usually do is I would let it dry a bit more. But now I'm recording, and something what I want to get better at, like I keep saying and I keep repeating myself, I want to get better at making videos like this, at making tutorials in which I talk and just explain what I do while I'm doing it. But that means that I need to be able to make a drawing in one go and while talking to you. So even if I would not post this video, it would still be very good practice for me. But the thing that I struggle with most is I kind of forget what I already talked about. And I also notice on another YouTube channel that I have is when I just start talking, I kind of start talking about things that I've already mentioned, that I already said. And then when I start editing them, it kind of becomes very boring because I keep repeating myself. I think the tree needs a little bit more line weight here and the bottom. Yeah, that makes it stand out more. I do wonder if I should add a little bit more depth to the face. A little bit more shadow below the eye. And a little bit more dots here to give the illusion of scales. And make this area a little bit darker so the frills stand out a little bit more. I'm actually not sure if I should add some white gel pen to it or just leave it like this, because now it's made with brush alone and I had fun with it. We'll see. Yeah, I'm gonna let this dry. Maybe I'll make some a little bit more adjustments, but I thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I hope I see you with the next one. Bye!